Administer users in Rally. Rally predefines a series of permission levels and related access rights for your subscription. Administrators apply these access rights as they add or modify users. As an administrator, you may view and edit the users for your scope of influence. That is, those with the same access as yours or less in the workspaces you access or manage. As you've seen, the subscription and workspace administrators have access to the Users page in the Setup area. This is where they administer users and permissions. The project administrator administers team members from the individual project or team in the Workspaces and Projects page. Users may have the following levels of access: Administrator, Editor, Viewer, or none. Users with team member access to a project can be assigned work in the respective project. You can manage team member status separately from project permissions. For example, you may have a Scrum Master who has project editor permissions but is not a team member, meaning his name does not display in any team owner drop-down lists. It is important to note that when assigning team member status, users must be at least an editor in order to be a team member. If a user's permission is changed to viewer, the user's team member status is removed. Users cannot be a team member and a viewer. If a user's permission is changed to editor, the user's team member status is not changed. If the user has no access or is a viewer and you add them as a team member, they are automatically upgraded to an editor. If a user's permission is changed to no access, the user's team member status is removed. If you uncheck the team member box, there is no change to their permissions. Now let's look at creating users and assigning them access from the perspective of subscription and workspace administrators. Subscription administrators have all the capabilities necessary to administer users and assign them any type of access. Workspace administrators can manage users for the workspaces they manage. To create a new user, select the Users page from the Setup area. Select Add New. You can either start with minimal information in the field that appears, or you can select Create with Details to get a fresh pop-up window. Enter the username. We recommend using email addresses. Choose a role from the drop-down list. You can also add more details by choosing a department or office location. Edit display preferences based on your internal guidelines. The user can add a photo or image later if they want to. Use the defaults for session timeout and remaining attributes. The user can update these settings later if you allow it. Provide data for any custom field that you or other subscription administrators have set. Once created, assign access permissions for the user from the Permissions tab. As a subscription administrator, you may make other subscription administrators too. Check the Subscription Administrator box to do so. Make a user a workspace administrator for the workspaces that they will administer. You can choose more than one. Workspace administrators have view and edit permissions for all work items and for all projects in the workspace. Otherwise, to restrict access, give them user permissions or no access for each workspace. If you have granted user permissions, then further specify the access that they should have for each project in the workspace. When you set the permissions for a parent project or team, by default, the child project or team is set to the same permission value. You may override the defaults as you wish. Workspace and subscription administrators should follow different steps to manage users. These administrators manage users from a project's detail page. First, find the project that you wish to administer and select the Users tab. Here you can create a new user if your subscription admin has granted you the correct permissions. Add an existing user from another team, assigning the access with which you want them to have for that project. Or copy an entire team onto your project along with their current permissions. Project managers can manage users depending on the permissions they have been given. Select the Setup icon next to your desired project. Select Users. Depending on the permissions the project administrator has been given, they can manage users from this page. It often makes more sense to disable a user rather than delete them. To do this, search for a user or apply a filter and specify which information you want to use to identify them. Select the checkbox to disable the user and uncheck the box to activate them. If you really do wish to delete a user, understand the impacts. This action removes the user from the listing on the user summary page and from the owner drop-down listings on all the work item summary pages. Only a subscription administrator can delete a user. You may reassign the active work items only by user if you have requested to do so. Or the team members may assign themselves as the owner as they pull this work. Next, return to setup mode and delete the user. Select Delete at the prompt. Please note that you cannot restore a user once it has been deleted. Now you understand how to administer users in Rally. For more information about Rally and Agile practices, check out our blog and community. Like this video and subscribe to our channel so you'll never miss new content as it's added.